It's fair to say UK construction has never been the most representative of industries, traditionally speaking. But leading organisations are making great strides towards opening up equality, diversity and inclusiveness across all levels of their businesses. In roles that have been dominated by men for generations, businesses are benefiting from a greater range of experiences and expertise granted by great women in construction. And as one of these businesses, Saint-Gobain understands how important that is to building a better future. So we went out to hear the real female voices within the industry, understanding why the front line of construction is better thanks to women working on it. Katie, tell me about your role here at British Gypsum.
So I work in the factory at Eastleigh Works. I'm a performance manager in the mill and the mineral handling department. So all the rock that comes onto site, I have oversight of, and then the blending of the rock, the grinding, the calcining of it, and then we send it to where it needs to go. So we have 2 board lines and a bag plaster plant as well.
So how did you end up in this role, working in construction?
So I started out doing chemistry at university, and I did a PhD in chemistry as well, which was on a tiny scale, like milligrams of product that I'd be making. So when I finished 4 years of that, I'd had enough of the tiny scale and I was like, I want to go big.
From tiny spoons to rock, massive lumps of rock.
I got a job in manufacturing. I started in pharmaceutical manufacturing, and then I moved into paper and pulp manufacturing. And then now I'm where I am now in plasterboard, bag plaster manufacturing.
So did you ever imagine yourself working in a kind of construction-based industry?
When I chose like sciences at A-level, probably not, but it was more, the more experience I got of chemistry at university, the more I realised that I do enjoy like the larger scale side of things. It's just a bit more exciting and bigger, like more things to play with, I guess. Also from the engineering side, like the machinery, really interested me.
What is a typical day like? What are you going to do after we've finished chatting? What's on the cards for today in your role?
So a typical day, you come in about 7:30, you look what has happened over the last 24 hours. So it's 24/7 the factory, so you see what the night shift have been up to and the day shift the day before. See if there's any problems that you need to sort out, anything like immediate. And then we have a morning production meeting, and we'll just see what the order book's been like over the last 24 hours as well, which can affect production. And then it varies each day. So today I'm going to go and have a chat with the mine. I'm doing a problem solving exercise with my team on one of our machines which isn't behaving as it should.
I mean, do you get a white coat on and weigh bits of rock and mix them together, or is it sort of like it's moved up in a sort of a gear?
Yeah, so it's moved up. I used to do that, I guess, like a few years ago, and I still wear a boiler suit from time to time and like go up stacks and do combustion checks and things, or like I'll get involved. Traditionally,
women have had a relatively, small representation in the construction manufacturing area. I mean, how have you found that being a woman in what has been traditionally a male-dominated sector?
I haven't really had any issues with it. I think since I did chemistry at uni, there was always more like men that did the course than women. So it's not, I haven't really like struggled with it. Sometimes it might take a bit longer to build up rapport or respect with certain people, maybe if they're a bit older or like traditional views. But if you get used to that, you sort of know the types and know how to talk to people in different ways.
What is the kind of the mix in your area of the business, do you think?
In the factory, I'd say there's 20-30 women and maybe 210-220 men.
So it is quite masculine still?
Still, yeah.
And is that changing since you've been here?
Yeah, definitely. We've got a lot more like women coming through, which is great, like students, graduates. And it will take a while to obviously like to change. But yeah, definitely see positive movement in that regard.
And what is your favourite bit of the job?
Is
it that varied, everyday varied, or is there specific things?
I do like innovation and scaling up new products and like launching into the market. That's pretty cool.
What would you say to women thinking about moving into construction, manufacturing and all the construction industry in general? Is it something you would be sort of positive and supportive about?
Obviously I can't comment on other like companies, but British Gypsum have really helped me with my training as well. So even if you don't have the skills initially, they can help you like develop those skills, which is really positive. And
so there's lots of different roles
yeah,
for lots of people with lots of skill sets.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are suitable irrespective of gender.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely.
Excellent. No, it's great. And you get to see really big machines crushing up rock and doing cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I love that. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, which is fine. But yeah, I think it's very cool.
Jag, tell me about your role here.
So my current role is as Head of Sector Development for the retrofit and refurbishment sector for Saint-Gobain Interior Solutions, but I have been with the group for over 5 years.
So what does that involve? I mean, that sounds like a huge sector to be looking at because we've got a lot of houses to refurbish, haven't we?
Yeah, it is complex and you have to keep up with all these trends and changes in government, regulation, all sorts. So really big, really exciting, but yeah, it's taken a lot of learning and I am still learning.
And on a day-to-day level, what does it involve?
My focus at the moment is on social housing, but actually because it's retrofit, it could be commercial buildings. So speaking to main contractors, speaking to all sorts of stakeholders across the industry as well. Because my role is about developing a proposition for Saint-Gobain to take to the market and the industry sector and actually make it work for them as well.
Does it make you feel good that ultimately you're trying to improve people's lives, health and well-being?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, on a big scale,
massively.
For lots and lots of people.
Yeah, especially speaking to tenants, and we're a member of a tenant organisation as well. And as cheesy as it sounds, we are trying to build better and make it better for people in the planet. And that's why we say that as Saint-Gobain. It's so important because there are tenants out there who can't live, and a home is something which they want to feel safe in. It's really special. Really,
well, with the black mold issues, you genuinely are. I mean,
Yeah.
you get it right. You get it right, and you support the industry to transform those homes. You are making a huge impact on the life outcomes of a lot of people.
Yeah.
How did you end up? What's your journey to this
My
position?
journey. All right. So I landed in construction. I can't even sit here and say, this is the role, this is the industry I wanted to go in. My background is marketing and brand, and straight out of uni studied marketing, went into different roles within retail, medical device, different industry sectors. Just over 5 years ago, I had to change my thinking, and my circumstances were 2 young kids, and I saw a role come up for Artex, which is now Ocano. It's the distribution business within Saint-Gobain UK. But my thinking was, wanted something a little bit more glamorous, but construction, I never thought of construction. And I had these, when I started thinking about it, I thought, well, I'll just go for the interview. I had these preconceived ideas that it's going to be a male-dominated industry. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised, and I honestly loved it. And my day-to-day was speaking to mixed, diverse people who work in the industry. I believe there's something for everyone in construction. It's really opened my mind.
What would you say to women thinking about construction as a career, or critically not thinking about construction as a career?
You know, yeah, I would actually say open your mind. Don't do what I did. I'm an example of basically having that tunnel vision and just landing in it, and actually I was quite lucky because I love it. But if somebody's seriously thinking about a career, don't knock things if you haven't tried them. Construction is brilliant and it's exciting. I mean, you're an architect, and working with architects as well, and understanding the shapes of buildings, the type of buildings, and how what you do can impact people who are really struggling at the moment.
I mean, my take on it is that the construction industry massively needs to revolutionise an upper skill set, given the challenges we've got around climate change. And the only way we're going to do that with as wide a pool of people involved in the industry as possible, with different thoughts and different ways of attacking problems. So it's a great time to get involved.
It's brilliant.
Charlotte, tell me about your role here at Saint-Gobain.
So I am an Interior Solutions trainer, and I basically run courses for internal staff or external people that want to just visit and, you know, have a course. Basically anything that we manufacture as a system or product, we can run a course on it.
Now, because I know that you're a very accomplished plasterer.
Well, I've learnt on the job.
Yeah.
My background was actually sales and kind of customer service, I suppose. I started with British Gypsum 5 years ago as a regional account manager. So I started in sales, and then COVID happened and I couldn't go out and visit my customers, but I had an opportunity to come down to the academy as a trainer on a secondment basis, and then I got offered the full-time job. So I've gone from a very desk-based sales background to now very practical, hands-on, being in front of people and training.
That's a really interesting journey. I
Yes.
mean, because as a younger you, and what would you say to a younger you? You know, there is all these careers that you're not thinking about.
Correct. I wouldn't have put myself in this position. I wouldn't have thought of doing this, you know, when I was younger, or, you know, thinking about what I want to do when I'm older. But actually, I find I'm more of a practical person anyway, so I enjoy being in front of people. I get a lot of kind of satisfaction knowing that someone's left a course that I've ran and they've taken something away with that, if you know what I mean.
Do you think it's partly about role models? That you know, there aren't that many women plasterers, there aren't that many women builders actually on the tools. I mean, the statistics
Yes.
are incredibly low. I
Yeah.
mean, there's an increasing number of women in construction, but still very few on site and on the tools.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I honestly, when I had the opportunity to come into the academy, I thought to myself, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Like, what have I done? And then I committed, and, you know, the ball was rolling with it. The business obviously thought it was a good idea. I've really enjoyed it. There's no reason why women can't be in trades or be in construction. I think it's a really good career thing to do. You know, if people are hands-on and they enjoy, you know, physically building something and you can see what you've done at the end of the day, then I'd recommend it.
It also strikes me that building is actually moving increasingly towards a realm where women have an equal role to play on site, because the sizes of bags are getting smaller, because actually anyone lifting a 25 kilo bag or block, it's going to hurt them over time, and we know that now, and everything's getting a bit lighter and smaller because it wears people out.
We use equipment in the academy, in the workshop, just to make life a bit easier for yourself, you know, so we're not humping heavy boards around by ourselves and things like that, or carrying many bags at any one time. So, you know, you can use equipment and things to help you lift boards onto ceilings and things like that. So,
what would you say to a younger you, or to other younger women thinking about this industry?
don't talk yourself out of it. You can quite easily think, oh, I can't do this, I've never done it before. But there's always support. I at one point I thought, well, who will listen to me who's not had the experience on site? I'm a woman. How will they receive me? And I've not had any pushback or any kind of negative, feedback from it. They listen to me. Like I say, they'll go away and think, oh, I've learnt that today. I think it's just the way the world's moving. I think, like you say, equality, the opportunities that people can have, women can have now in the industry, in the trade. It's a bit of an archaic way to think that, women don't belong in construction, or, there's no reason why that should be the case now.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for more insights and inspiration that's helping us all on the way to building better.